how should we be cultivating, our minds in preparation for
Right.
death?
Well, we should be doing that every minute now while we're alive. And by being more relaxed, more generous, letting go, more easygoing, less self-righteous, etc. We should, not so stuck and be not fanatic about our things and attached to them and so forth. But practically, we're practical about it, but not overdoing it. And the state of mind, of course, ideally to die in is a happy one. Just like whatever you do when you're happy, you do it better. And so the idea is to find in yourself a place you can touch where a kind of feeling of happiness wells up within you without necessarily being because you own this or achieved that or did the other, but just because you're touching that as if that is where you really are. And that's what meditation practice, well directed and well enhanced by learning and thinking about what you learn, therefore well guided meditation practice, you can find in yourself grounds of counting your blessings and a feeling of some sort of free random happiness, you could call it, and that you should cultivate now all times, and so that by the time you come to where you die, may it not be for a century or so, depending on how old you are, then you'll still be happy. You'll be more happy by then. And you'll be ready to deal with this new situation. And I think actually a really good thing to do. So you should really study Book of the Dead. And, there's a few good translations of the Book of the Dead. And you should study them. And study the different schematizations that Indian and Tibetan inner scientists have made about the dying process and the rebirth process and so on. And you should also maybe try to live in a little more self-aware way, contemplatively and self-reflective, and then maybe learn to lucidly dream or try to, which takes time. And no one should say, oh, I just couldn't do that because I'm just not that kind of person. It's a matter of cultivating habits. There are people without being Buddhists, Stephen LaBerge, I think is his name, who's a psychologist, not particularly a Buddhist. He has trainings that he does that. He wrote books like that. And there are a lot of Tibetan books about becoming lucid dreaming, dream yoga. You keep a journal, you tell yourself every night when you fall asleep, I'm going to try to remember that I'm dreaming when I dream. And then also when you wake up, even if you don't, if you still remember a dream once you're waking, I'll try to write it down so you sort of can go back into remembering and recovering, because you'll forget it in a few minutes when you get distracted by things being awake. So you begin to sort of focus on your dream life. If you have a shrink or something, that's what they encourage you to do, is free associate when you're awake, and try to remember your dreams, and then try to be aware that you're dreaming in a dream. If you do that, if you learn that skill, which almost anyone can learn, if you're persistent, that's really fantastic. Good preparation for the post-death state. And then try to do meditations and enjoy. I'm not against those space meditations that people do, where they by developing intense analytic of the self, you go into what's called a space-like equipoise. That's very, very good to do. But just don't attach yourself to a space-like experience like that's emptiness, because your non-space-like situation is just as emptiness as a space-like situation. In fact, actually. But be prepared to know that at the time you go into this space. But then going into one, however, nevertheless, in a way where you won't be trapped in it, is very valuable and wonderful. And all of those things will help you in dealing with letting go. And the skill of dying well is to die happy. And the way to do that is to be happy in life, which I bet you are. You must be happy, or you wouldn't be on a Dharma chat.